Good morning. I'm here to read out Edgar Allan Poe. It's called Diddling, considered as one of the exact sciences. Hey, diddle, diddle, the cat and the fiddle. Since the world began, there has been two Jeremys. The one wrote a Jeremiad about usury and was called Jeremy Bentham. He had been much admired by Mr. John Neal and was a great man in a small way. The other gave name to the most important of the exact sciences and was a great man in a great way. I must say, indeed, the greatest of ways. Diddling of the abstract idea conveyed by the verb of diddle is sufficiently well understood. Yet the fact, the deed, the thing diddling is somewhat difficult to define. We may get, however, at a totally distinct conception of the matter in hand by defining not a thing diddling in itself, but man as an animal that diddles. Had Plato but hit upon this, he would have been spared the affront of the picked chicken. Very pertinently, it was demanded of Plato, why a picked chicken was very clearly a biped without feathers. Was not, according to his own definition, a man? But I am not to be bothered by any similar query. Man is an animal that ditties, and there is no animal that ditties but man. It will take an entire hen coop to pick chickens to get over that. What constitutes the essence, the nair, the principle of diddling, is in fact peculiar to the class of creatures that wear coats and pantaloons. A crow thieves, a fox cheats, a weasel outwits, a man diddles. To diddle is his destiny. Man was made to mourn, says the poet, but not so, he was made to diddle. This is his aim, his object, his end. And for this reason, when a man's diddled, we say he's done. Diddling, right considered, is a compound of which the ingredients are minuteness, interest, perseverance, ingenuity, audacity, nonchalance, originality, impertinence, and grin. Minuteness. Your diddler is minute. His operations are upon a small scale. His business is retail for cash or approved paper at sight. Should he ever be tempted into magnificent speculation, he then at once lost his distinctive features and becomes what is termed financier. The latter word conveys the diddling idea in every aspect except that of magnitude. A diddler may thus be regarded as a banker in petto, a financial operation as a diddle of Brodinig. There one was the other of Homer to Flaccus, as a mastodon to a mouse, as a tail to a comet to that of a pig. Interest. Your diddler is guided by self-interest. He scorns to diddle to mere shake of the diddle. He has an object in view, your pocket and yours. He regards always the main chance. He looks to number one, and you are number two, and he must look to yourself. Perseverance. Your diddler perseveres. He is not readily discouraged. Even should even banks break, he cares nothing about it. He steadily pursues his end. And ut canis e corio nunquam eberteper unquito, and he lets go of his game. Ingenuity. Your diddler is ingenious. He has constructiveness large. He understands plot. He invents and circumvents. He is not Alexander. He would be Diogenes. Were he not a diddler, he would be a maker of patient rap taps and an angler for trout. Audacity. Your diddler is audacious. He is bold man. He carries the war into Africa. He conquers all by assault. He would not fear the daggers of Frey Heron. For the little more prudence, Dick Turpin would have been a good diddler with a trifle less blarney. Daniel O'Connell, with a pound or two more brains, 12th Charles XII. Nonchalance. Your diddler is nonchalant. He is not at all nervous. He never had any nerves. He is never seduced into a flurry. He is never put out unless put outdoors. He is cool, cool as a cucumber. He is calm, calm as a smile from Lady Bury, and as easy, easy as an old glove, as the damsel of ancient Baezi. Originality. Your diddler is original. Conscientiously so. his thoughts are his own. He would scorn to employ those of another. The stale trick is the aversion. He would return a purse, I am sure, upon discovering that he had obtained it from an unoriginal diddle. Impertinence. Your diddler is impertinent. He swaggers. He sets his arms akimbo. He thrusts his hands into the trousers pocket. He sneers in your face. He treads on your corns. He eats your dinner. He drinks your wine. He borrows your money. He pulls your nose. He pickles your poodle and kisses your wife. Grin. Your diddler, your true diddler, winds up all with a grin. But this nobody sees but himself. He grins when his work is done, and then his allotted labors are accomplished at night in his own closet, and altogether for his own private entertainment. He goes home, he locks the door, he divests himself in his clothes, he puts out his candle, he gets into bed, he places his hand upon a pillow. All this is done, and your diddler grins. There is no hypothesis. This is not a matter of course, a reason a priori, and a diddler would be no diddler without a grin. The origin of the diddler is referable to the infancy of the human race. Perhaps the first diddler was Adam. In all events, we can trace the science back to the very remote period of antiquity. The modern, however, has brought it to the perfection never dreamed of by our thick-headed progenitors. Without pausing to speak of the old saws, therefore, I shall content myself with a contemptuous account of some of the more modern instances. A very good diddler is this. A housekeeper in want of a sofa, for instance, is seen to go in and out of several cabinet warehouses. At length, she arrives at one offering in excellent variety. She is accosted and invited to enter by a polite and voluble individual at the door. She finds a sofa well adapted to her views, and upon inquiring the price, is surprised and delighted to hear a sum named at least 20% lower than her expectations. The hastens to make the purchase, gets the bill and receipt, leaves her address with a request that the article be sent home as speedily as possible, and retires amid a profusion of bows from the shopkeeper. The night arrives and no sofa. The next day passes and still more. A servant is sent to make inquiry about the delay. The whole transaction is denied. No sofa has been sold, no money received except by the diddler, who played shopkeeper for the nonce. Our cabinet warehouses are left entirely unattended and thus afford every facility for a trick of this kind. Visitors enter, look at furniture, and depart unheeded and unseen. Should anyone wish to purchase or to inquire the price of an article, a bell is at hand, and this is considered amply sufficient. Again, quite a respectable diddle is this. A well-dressed individual enters a shop, makes a purchase to the value of the dollar, finds much to his vexation that he has left his pocketbook in another coat pocket, and he says to the shopkeeper, "My dear sir, never mind, just oblige me, will you, by sending the bundle home? But stay, I really believe that I have nothing less than a $5 bill even there. However, you can send $4 in change with your bundle, you know." "Very good, sir," replies the shopkeeper, who entertains at once a lofty opinion on the high-mindedness of his customer. "I know fellows," he says to himself, "who would just have put the goods under their arm and walk off with a promise to call and pay the dollar if they came by in the afternoon. The boy is sent with a parcel and change. In the route, quite accidentally, he is met by the purchaser, who exclaims, 'Ah, this is my bundle, I see. I thought you had been home with it long ago. Well, go on. My wife, Miss Trotter, has given you the $5. I left instructions for her to the effect. The change you might as well give to me. I shall want some silver for the post office.' Very good. 1, 2, or this is a good quarter. 3, 4, quite right. Say to Mrs. Trotter that you met me, and I'm sure now that you do not loiter in the way. The boy doesn't loiter at all, and he is a very long time in getting back from his errand, for no lady of the precise name of Mrs. Trotter is to be discovered. He consoles himself, however, that he has not been such a fool as to leave the good without the money, and re-entering the shop with a self-satisfied air, feels sensibly hurt and indignant that his master asks him what has become of the change. A very simple diddle indeed is this. The captain of a ship which is about to sail is presented by an official-looking person with an unusually moderate bill of city charges, glad to get off so easily, and confused by 100 duties pressing upon him all at once. He discharges the claim forthwith. In about 15 minutes or another, a less reasonable bill is handed him by one of who soon makes it evident that the first collector was a diddler and the original collection a diddle. For here, too, is a somewhat similar thing. A steamboat is casting loose from the wharf. A traveler, portenthow in hand, is discovered running toward the wharf at full speed. Suddenly he makes a dead halt, stoops, and picks up something from the ground in a very agitated manner. Is this a pocketbook? And has any gentleman lost a pocketbook? He cries. No one can say that it is exactly lost a pocketbook, but a great excitement ensues when the treasure trove is found to be of value. The boat, however, must not be detained. Time to wait for no man, says the captain. For God's sake, stay only for a minute, says the finder of the book. The true claimant will presently appear. Can't wait, replies the man of authority. Cast off, do you hear? What am I to do? Asked the finder in great tribulation. I am about to leave the country for some years, and I cannot conscientiously retain this large amount in my possession. I beg your pardon, sir. Here is his address and gentleman on shore, but you have the air of an honest man. Will you confer upon me the favor of taking charge of this pocketbook? I know I could trust you, and of advertising it. The notes, you see, amount to a very considerable sum. The owner will, no doubt, insist upon rewarding you for your trouble. Me? No, you. It was you who found the book. Well, you must have had it so. I will take a small reward just to satisfy your scruples. Let me see why these notes are all hundreds. Bless my soul, 100 is too much to take. 50 would be quite enough, I am sure. Cast off there, says the captain, but then I have no change for 100, and upon the whole you had better. Cast off there, says the captain. Never mind, cries the gentleman on the shore, who has been examining his own pocketbook for the last minute or so. Never mind, I can fix it. Here is a 50 in the Bank of America. Throw me the book. On the over-conscientious finder takes the 50 with marked reluctance and throws the gentleman the book as desired, while the steamboat fumes and fizzles on its way. In about a half an hour after her departure, the large amount is seen to be a counterfeit presentment, and the whole thing is a capital diddle. We're going to leave the rest of the diddles for another day. I have one question to anyone who's watching this stream ever. Who do you think the top diddler in the world is today? That's a good question. Ask yourself, who is the top diddler? Not P. Diddy, he's in prison. Must be somebody else. I don't know who it is, but you can ask yourself that. It's a good question, isn't it? Kind of relevant to what's going on today, do you think? I'm going to read one more poem by Emily Bronte. It's called Honor's Martyr. The moon is full of winter's night. The stars are clear, though few, and every window glistens bright with leaves of frozen dew. The sweet moon through your lattice gleams and lights your room like day, and there is your past in happy dreams, the peaceful hours away, while I, with effort hardly quelling the anguish of my breast, wander about the silent dwelling and cannot think of rest. The old clock in the gloomy hall ticks on from hour to hour, and every time its measured call seems lingering slow and slower. And oh, how slow that keen-eyed star has tracked the chilly gray. What watching yet, how very far the morning lies away. Without your chamber door I stand. Love, are you slumbering still? My cold heart underneath my hand has almost ceased to thrill. Bleak, bleak, the east wind sobs and sighs and drowns the current bell, while the sad note undistinguished dies, unheard like my farewell. Tomorrow scorn will bliss my name, and hate will trample me, will load me with a coward shame, a traitor's perjury. False friends will launch their covert sneers, true friends will wish me dead, and I shall cause the bitterest tears you have ever shed. The dark deeds and my outlawed race will then like virtue shine, and men will pardon their disgrace besides the guilt of mine. For who forgives the accursed crime, the dastard treachery? Rebellion is its chosen time, may freedom's champion be. Revenge may stain a righteous sword, it may be just to slay, but traitor, traitor, from that word all true breasts shrink away. Or I would have give my heart to death to keep my honor fair, yet I'll not give my inward faith, my honor's name to spare. Not even to keep your priceless love, dare I, beloved, deceive? This treason should the future prove, then only then believe. I know the path I ought to go, I follow fearlessly. Inquiry not what deeper woe stern duty stores for me. So foes pursue and cold allies mistrust me every time. Let me be false to others' eyes, be faithful to my own. Well, thank you to Emily Bronte and to Mr. Poe for today's lessons. If you think there's anything relevant to what's going on here, please like and subscribe and have a nice day.